Now, Eric, let's talk about those edge rushers. You consider them to be the weakest part of the Detroit Lions defense.
Whoa. The blasphemy on the opening gate. Look at you. How dare you?
I can't even say it with a straight face, but here's the reality. They had some decent edge rushers. Okay, I'm going to run down a list real quick. James Houston graded out the best, even though he had the least amount of games out of anyone not named Charles Harris last year. Or Romeo Okwara. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson, number 2 overall pick last year. Charles Harris. John Kaminsky can also play edge. Austin Bryant no longer with the team. Josh Pascal can move outside, inside. Okay, Julian Okwara, Romeo Okwara, and then Anthony Pittman, who played a little bit. Okay. Adding Will Anderson to this group, as we talked about in the previous segment, would make it one of the better groups in the NFL.
Easily.
But you can't just rely on Will Anderson, and you can't just rely on Aiden Hutchinson the entire time. So let's break down here. What are our thoughts going into this draft, and why would someone like an Anderson make sense given who the Lions have?
It would make the most sense because, as you just said, based on what they have, you're good on the brink of possibly being great, where you could just use one more piece. Like, to me, they're in a position where they could go after, and this is just spitball. Let's say if Khalil Mack wanted to get traded. Like, if he was on the market
for the fifth
right, exactly. It's the first name that came to my mind, but just a premier edge rusher that wanted a change of scenery. The Lions could be one of those teams to go after a player like that. This is the better case scenario because you're getting a rookie in this situation. So I believe, based on how they're situated and based on what they do, which, again, you see a lot of like one-on-one setups where it's, Hutch, rushing off the edge, but then they do a lot of stunts where they let Hutch stunt for a second. They let Lee McNeil or Bugs or whoever else in the middle eat a double team, and then I've seen Hutch wrap through the middle and then blitz through the A gap off the center.
It's called a twist.
And that worked a lot for them. And having a Will Anderson also gives you the ability to be creative with that. And again, be mindful what I'm saying. You're being creative with the defensive line. We're not even talking about blitzing. Yeah. So if you are able to get that kind of pressure with just 4 guys or 5 guys, you are putting an elite, maybe not defense, but having an elite pass rush puts you in a completely different conversation in the NFL. And that's what adding a Will Anderson would do for the Detroit Lions.
I think this is, like you said, a good bordering on great group.
Yep.
To start. I mean, you talk about Houston, right? He played 7 games last year. Graded out 88 in PFF on his pass rush. In true pass sets, he graded out at a 77, but his win rate went through the roof. He was a 26% win rate in just regular pressure, which 25 is elite in the NFL. When it was a true pass set, so you're talking, 4 wide, single back, shotgun, 5 wide, whatever, his win rate went up to 31%. Hutchinson, on the other hand, he had a 70 pass rush. His win rate was 14.6, which is still good, not elite. Right. But he was also taking all the double teams.
A lot, yes.
Because he was one of the most double-teamed player last season. Not named Myles Garrett, of course. But again, in a true pass set, his win rate goes up to 17%. Obviously, less people available to chip, less people available to double team. But then you get to like Charles Harris, right, who only played 6 games. You get to John Kaminsky, who played 14 games. These guys are good and serviceable, but you're not relying on them to be your starting guys. Those are depth pieces. Kaminsky's a change of pace. You could bring him in and even maybe slide him down the line a little bit like you do with Josh Pascal. Right? Pascal came in, he had an 11% win rate, a 19% win rate in true passing sets. Julian Okwara, his brother, had a 24.1% win rate in true pass sets. So this is a group that can get to the quarterback. It's a group that has no problem getting to the quarterback. They just need to do it a little bit more consistently, which is why I think you shore up the defensive secondary, which they've done a great job in the offseason doing that. Mm-hmm. Now you add a little bit of depth to a strength, which I would consider their defensive edges, specifically a strength. I just mentioned that, right? Yep. And that makes your secondary that much better.
It does. And another improvement that they desperately need that would, be catapulted from this D-line is against the run. If I'm not mistaken, the Lions finished, 29th against the run. And they had some moments where they flashed and played really well. I mean, keeping Saquon Barkley under check the way they did. Some games they limited Dalvin Cook. I know the Jets game they played really well, even though I think one of their guys was injured out of the starting backfield. As long as they don't have a repeat of what we saw against the Panthers, they should be just fine. And when you add in a Will Anderson, who, again, is very good at getting to the quarterback, but having DNs who can help set the edge, which was a big problem to start off the first half of the season for the Lions next year, that's a huge step forward. And again, you're coming in with not just more talent, but now Hutch being a little bit more experienced with, the D-line having a little bit more experience as well, plus more talent next to them. Having that experience and then throwing in a stud like Will Anderson in the mix of all that, again, good on the board of being great. Again, I don't think I haven't heard a trade idea that I don't like yet outside of trading the 2 first-round picks to go get him. But whatever they need to do, I wouldn't say whatever they need to do, but please, within reason, go get that man to the Detroit Lions.
Get him to the Detroit Lions because there's one thing that I wanted to read, and I mentioned it last night on the PFF or on the live grade. But I wanted to read this. This is from PFF's draft guide that they have. Okay. And I wanted to read this. Will Anderson, his 207 career pressures are 55 more than the next closest defender over the past 3 years. And his 37 sacks are 10 more. Not only that, his 91.5 run defense grade, which we just talked about, they are a little bit weaker against the run. In that 3-year span, trails only one other person among FBS edge defenders. You know who that number 1 person was in run defense? I said it on the live, so I know that you know
exactly who it is. It's my favorite edge rusher, Aidan Hutchinson. Yes.
But your second favorite defensive player last year.
No. Hutch, I'm riding with you, bro.
He was.
9-7, I'm with you.
Now. He might be now, but he was not then. The impact that a guy like Will Anderson can have on this specific room, on this edge room, it's a decent, good room. Not a great room. Gives you, over the last 3 years, the 2 best run defending edges in college football. I'd say that's significant.
And let me ask you real quick, because just to make sure people understand, you wouldn't even, let's say Jalen Carter didn't have any of the problems that he had. None of the off the field stuff would be a conversation. You still wouldn't trade up to go get him. Anderson is the only player, and I'm with you on this, but I'm just making sure I'm right. He's the only player on the board that you'd be willing to trade for the Lions at this point.
100%.
Got you.
But I'm doing it within reason, as we talked about on the live. Yes. I would not sell the farm. I would not. You don't have to trade pick 18 to get up to 3.
No.
You don't. I just would not. I wouldn't trade for anybody other than him. He is my guy in this draft. If the Lions, if the Lions walk away with Will Anderson, I literally couldn't care less what happens the rest of the draft.
They could get a tight end next. So
draft a wide receiver at 18. Draft a tight end with the second round pick. Draft a running back with the next one after that. Draft 3 guards and a center. I I literally do not care.
Having a game breaker like him just opens up so much. And again, for everything that they've done so far, and again, I don't think they need to put together the perfect, most complete defense they can find. But if you can make your D line as perfect as possible, and adding a guy like him, I can't even imagine having Hutch as a number 2 rusher. But I mean, you could maybe just 1A, 1B, and see what the conversation is from there. But either way, having him in that kind of
it
mix,
would be a 1A, 1B situation. See, now you're demoting Hutch
just
already.
saying, it could be either way. You never know.
The title of this clip is going to be Eric hates Aiden
don't
Hutchinson.
do that. No, Hutch. You know what? I'm getting a Hutch jersey. Next time I come in here, I got a Hutch jersey. 9-7, I'm with you.
For now. Until Will Anderson comes, then you become 1B.
Yeah, then you
Aiden.
can have him. Then I'll let you have him.
Listen, Hutch against the run. He was so the first 2 guys that graded out well had less than 200 snaps against the run last year. The first one over 300 is Jeff Okudah. He graded out at 74. The next one's Aiden Hutchinson. Like, he was our best run defender in the front 7.
And no,
As a
outside
rookie.
of us, I don't think he would be the next most happiest person to have Will Anderson on this team. Not having to deal with,
because it's pick your poison.
And I've watched a lot of Hutch's highlights yesterday, and a lot of the sacks he had started off as, you know, him taking on the tackle, and then the guard chips over and pushes him out to get that opportunity to even get an edge rush on the quarterback. Now it's just strictly one-on-one where he's getting some of his moves down. He's going to come in stronger next season. Like, you doubling McNeil and leaving those 2 on the island? Oh my goodness. I need it.
That is what I mean, right? It's literally pick your poison. So are you going to double Will Anderson and leave Hutchinson? Are you going to try to chip both of them and not be able to get to the defensive tackles? Like, it literally would be insanity, which is why I'm just like, oh, for the love of everything that's holy, please draft Will Anderson. Do it.
That's what makes the most sense at this
within
point.
reason. Don't sell the farm. It literally, I mean, you're coming into the draft with no needs. Why not go get the best player in the draft?
It would make more sense to trade up to go get him than take a cornerback at 6 at this point. Like, it makes the most sense. Go get him.
It doesn't even make sense to take a corner at 6 right now anyway.
Like, you can argue against a lot of decisions that they could make. Going to get him, I think, is the most reasonable at this point, honestly.
It is absolutely the most reasonable, and we've got just a few weeks to find out what is actually going to happen. We cannot wait. We have a few live shows coming up with them follow-up shows breaking down those players. We're going to look at the top 5 prospects from Beyond the Box who the Lions could end up with in that first round pick. So you're not going to want to miss our upcoming content. Tonight was all about our guy Will Anderson, who we hope is wearing that Honolulu blue come April 28th. But for now, we're going to just sit back and hope. That's all we can do. And we'll get ready for our next show where we talk about number 2, which you can tune into live Thursday night at 9 o'clock. He's Eric Vincent. I'm AJ Riley. This has been your favorite Detroit sports show, Beyond the Box. We will catch you Thursday night at 9 o'clock.
Peace out, Hutch.